Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series. Hey guys, it's Adam here. Recently I took a trip to the UK, and while I was there I checked out a couple of stores, including this one. This is Super Tomato. Now I just want to quickly go and show you the front of the store here. And once we get inside, I actually talked to the owner. His name is Tom, and he decided he wanted to act a little bit like Toy Rat. He wanted to journey around the store and show us everything. So I figure, what the hell, I'd be very happy to let him do that. So without any further ado, this is Super Tomato, and this is Tom here, the owner of this store, and he's going to go ahead and show us around, and you guys can see everything cool that is in here. So, you want to go ahead and start there?
Okay, welcome to Super Tomato in Cardiff, in Wales, in the UK. At the door here we've got our Game Boy selection. The reason this is here is because our most popular formats by a country mile are Game Boy and N64. Game Boy is ostensibly driven by Pokemon, which is still crazy popular. N64, things like Mario Kart and GoldenEye, which are not particularly rare, but just perpetually popular. Without a word of hyperbole, you put those games on the shelf and you won't see them for dust within about half an hour or so. I mean, we have plenty of other rarer N64 titles, you know, Smash Brothers, Pokemon Puzzle League, things like that. But it's the classics that keep people going.
Yeah, the thing that interests me, the equalizer, because we had Game Shark.
I mean, there's a number of different cheat cartridges for N64. These days, they seem to be bought mainly for use of Perfect Dark and GoldenEye and things like that. There are things on certain games that mean people do go for them for very specific reasons. I mean, not so much for the cheat functionality as the stuff you can unlock.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. They're hard to get, at least, well, for like if you want a PAL exclusive and you want to bring it over, you can't use the American Game Shark stuff, and so finding those is pretty neat.
Well, there was a period when they were just like 10 a penny and we were giving them away, but these days, all of a sudden, you just don't see them at all. That's our 3DO cabinet there, which is slightly less well stocked than it is usually. We had a lady pick up a lot of our games the other day.
The lone FIFA soccer. Well, okay, no, that's not fair. There's more here.
There is, smattering. The Iron Angel of the Apocalypse is quite an unusual one. That's an amazingly customized PS1.
I know it's not coming through on the camera, but that is brilliantly painted.
Now, there's the company that does that, and we carried one or two of their consoles. They literally take the whole machine apart, paint it individually, reassemble it, and crucially reassemble it in a way that it still works as well. Beautiful stuff.
It really looks nice.
Nintendo Game & Watches with the incredibly rare Mario the Juggler.
That is really cool to see. I've never seen Game & Watches in person.
Oh, normally we have loads of them. Again, I'm going to be saying this, like you've caught us at the moment when we've just sold quite a number of them. But I mean, the real piece de resistance is the Mario the Juggler. You just do not see that. I'm glad we still have that, as we're very unlikely to get another one in within the next few years or so.
And I'm glad you guys got to see it. Over here, of course, my favorite console, Sega Dreamcast. Sealed Japanese copies of Shenmue 1 and 2.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And the Dreamcast karaoke unit, which is pretty awesome. VMUs. Why don't you tell us about some of that, because that doesn't really look familiar to me.
Well, again, these are a lot of vintage LCDs or electronic games, both mechanical ones and electronic ones. Anything that is vintage, I suppose. I mean, we carry everything up until what was the current generation, your Wii 360 and PS3. We probably should start encroaching on that territory these days. But anything old school is really what we do. These things down here, the Diddy Kong Racing figures, these will be more familiar to you guys, as they got quite a wide release in the States. Not so much in Europe. They're quite unusual to see over here, and the Mario Kart figures in the same scale to go with them.
I've seen those before, yeah, but they're expensive over there too. Got some games like Simon down here.
We do, yes. Simon is an underrated classic bit of video game history.
That's by Tandy. I think that is. We don't ever see those in America. I don't think. I don't recall ever seeing Tandy stuff.
I mean, you're talking about a similar Kettlerfish to Radio Shack stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
I got you.
Similar ballpark.
Yeah, a giant Mario.
We do. We got a giant Luigi somewhere as well in the window, I think. Those are prize giveaways at carnivals and such.
Oh, cool. Geo Cd controller.
Yeah, with gold ribbon.
Why not? Virtua Fighter guns, PS1s.
The MSX is the thing that intrigues me. I mean, those I think are super, super cool.
Mm-hmm. Look at all these magazines.
Yeah, I mean, everything from Retro Gamer, which is obviously a contemporary retro title.
Yeah, that's actually only available here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can get it in Europe, actually. Like, there's a German version of it. It's not the same magazine, same title, different content. Outrageously overpriced. But the UK one is obviously the one that everyone's heard of. We got a ton of retro magazines as well, and we try and keep, I mean, stuff from copies of Edge to really, really old PC type magazines.
Wow. Mega Man, Star Force. I'm just looking at stuff that's catching my eye here. A lot of cool stuff. You got, oh, that's kind of neat. Just bundling the N64 game with a magazine. Or a comic.
Well, I mean, you can get a variety of Turok comics, most of which are pretty terrible. That's a really old Turok comic. It seemed like a cool thing to put in with it.
That is a cool concept. Some Sonic plushies and game guides and stuff. Posters.
Yeah, we do a limited range of comic books and a whole lot of manga. The shop itself is split 50-50 between retro video games and manga and Japanese toys and paraphernalia and things like that. While we do a limited range of American stuff, it's, I suppose, geared towards very particular things. Adventure Time in particular is crazy, crazy popular. We're lucky with most titles, as any comic book store is. If you sell 1 or 2 issues of any given title a month, Adventure Time, we tend to sell about 50 copies of each issue. It's insanely popular.
Stacks of Gamecubes.
This is a small fraction of our Gamecube stock. Because the Wii is backwards compatible, I mean, the PS1 is a similar kettle of fish, because PS2, PS3 play PS1 games. No one buys PS1s anymore. The Gamecubes, because the Wii is backwards compatible and everyone and their dog had a Wii under the TV at some point, at a certain stage, we were making Tetris shapes out of these on the shelf up there. We had so many of them, simply because they're in 3 colours, black, silver, purple.
Yep.
You can do that. You know, they were more useful for modern sculpture than they were as video gaming consoles.
Amiga Cd32. Now that is really cool. We did not get that in the States, guys. The Canadians got it, but barely.
There's a cool game for Fighting Spirit, I think, S&K ripoff. You'll find it in Scandinavia most commonly, but it's the title to buy the system for. There's some cool stuff on there.
Down here, that's a cool, like, Lego Sonic.
I made that, yeah.
You did a good job.
Well, Lego is great for pixel art, and Lego Store these days do the pick and mix stuff. There's nothing more enjoyable than going down there with a piece of graph paper, elbowing some kids out the way, filling up your cup with a ton of bricks. It's cool stuff.
Are these all Amiga Cd32?
Amiga and Atari ST games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, we should probably sort them out a little better than we have done, but...
Come down here and buy some, guys.
Well, we get so much stuff traded in, we can't always keep on top of it.
Now look at all this Master System.
This is my pride and joy, the Sega stuff. I've changed the shop around a little bit at the moment. This is about half of the Master System Mega Drive stuff we have, simply as shelf space was getting to be a bit of a premium, so I've cut it down a little bit, taken off a few box variations. I've avoided any duplicates and anything like that, and there's a few other titles we've just had in today that I haven't had a chance to put on there. But the Sega stuff is particularly close to my heart, and
me too.
We always try and make sure there's a good selection of Mega Drive and Master System games in particular.
There's so many Master System games that we just never saw in North America. It's ridiculous. Like this entire series, I don't think ever came out in North America.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been fortunate, and over the 5 years we've been here, on 3 occasions we've had a complete run of European Master System titles, which is very hard to do. Things like Power Strike 2 and Buggy Run, crazy rare stuff that we've been lucky. We've bought up 1 or 2 collections, and while none of them individually have been complete, combined together, we've managed to get hold of some of the most obscure stuff. And as you say, so much of it did not turn up in the States, or indeed Japan, you know?
Yeah. Swinging around here, you could see not so much gaming, but you got a lot of DVDs and anime.
We do. I mean, these are Arcadia magazines from Japan, which is a Japanese video gaming magazine. That's a relatively modest Japanese language selection of books. We do a lot in the way of things like Gundam, Final Fantasy miniatures. These are Ninja Mites, which are the closest I could get to Ultimate Muscle figures at the moment. Muscle is harder than you think to get hold of these days, just because they're so small, and I reckon everyone loses the figures they had as a kid. Similar type of thing, another Japanese import, and obviously it's the European version, but with a more ninja theme.
Right.
Lots of little Pokemon miniatures and things like that.
You got a whole wall of manga here.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not too into it, but I know a lot of people are.
It's a good fit for the customer base.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, because video games do tend to be to a great degree Japanese originated. The manga has always dovetailed pretty well. It's always been a pretty good overlap.
In addition to that, you also, it looks like you have a pretty sizable toy collection here for sale.
Yeah, we thought we'd dabble in the 80s toys as well. I mean, it more just adds to the atmosphere of the shop. There's some cool stuff there. We particularly focus on the Transformers.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We try and get as much G.I. Joe and Action Force in as we can, although that's a little hard for Europeans. You can see in this cabinet here a couple of Transformers that I knocked over and broke earlier rather fantastically. So that Mirage is rapidly depreciated.
Street Fighter figures. This really intrigues me.
Yeah, Amstrad Mega PC.
Yeah.
One half crappy PC, one half Sega Genesis. Yeah.
Raymond told me you can take this off and attach a Sega CD to it.
I did not know that, but he would know better than I would.
This is
the guy with the knowledge.
Really very cool.
Yeah, I would love to have the joypad for it as well. The sort of beige, but still standard, efficient Sega pad. I'd love one of those.
There. And more figures here.
Some of our
Voltron,
Japanese stuff.
more Transformers.
Yeah, a lot of Evangelion. Mazinger, all that kind of stuff.
Cool stuff.
Strike Witches.
More manga and some ZX Spectrum stuff.
Yeah, we get a lot of those. Obviously, that's quite popular in this part of the world. The rubber keyed ZX Spectrum as well, which someone the other day came in and said to me they remembered it feeling like dead skin, which I've not heard before, but I guess is a pretty accurate description.
Some accessories for different consoles, and look at the PlayStation stuff. You guys had these really interesting cases that we did not get.
We have that on every format. We have the dumbest cases. I mean, you guys generally, and more the Japanese as well, stick with standard Jun cases, which is, for your shelving, much more convenient. PS1 cases are okay. They're reasonably durable, as I'm sure you've seen with our PAL Dreamcast cases.
Yeah.
You look at them funny and they fall apart.
Yeah, you can break them with a feather.
Yeah, our Saturn stuff is exactly the same. I mean, Sega at a certain point clearly realised they'd made a pretty serious mistake because they start adding little bits of tape to hold the front on. Just crazy stuff. I mean, there's a sound reason for that. It's because our European manuals have
all the languages.
30 languages in there, and they're much thicker. But it's messy.
All the PS2 stuff, you guys got totally screwed on the labels. They're all just white. Ours are color customized.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they look more like Xbox games. Like every single one has a set. You guys got totally screwed on that, unfortunately. Forbidden Siren 2, really cool European exclusive. Well, it came out in Japan. We never got this in North America. Yeah, it's really sweet to get that. And of course, the Dreamcast. Favorite console of mine. Cool that you got the official dance pad.
Yeah.
And the, I assume that's some sort of version of the Cha-Cha maracas.
Now we did have two sealed PAL copies of Samba de Amigo, with maracas. Yeah. These are the crappy third-party Cha-Cha Amigo maracas.
I remember that company. They used to make a lot of really mediocre accessories. Yeah, and of course, the PAL stuff, it looks good.
It does.
But once you touch it, that's when it become a problem.
Yeah, once you look at it,
a really rare European exclusive.
It is indeed, yeah. I mean, the Dreamcast is interesting in so much as people don't realise that Sega supported it for so long themselves up until 2007, and then the titles you still get today, like
the independent
Stormwind and things like that. Yeah. I mean, it's a great system to buy, in so much as there are still things being released for it. 3 releases a year kind of thing. The
next one up is Pure Solar, I think. At the time I make this video. Yeah, it's really cool. Planet Ring is back online.
Really?
Through independent servers.
No way.
Shout out to my friend PC Wizard 13, or Dreamcastic channel, who figured out how to do that. Made a video on it. Go check it out. PAL controllers, and then of course Xbox stuff. Surprisingly high amount of original Xbox exclusives exist here, which is for an American console. That's very strange. But I'm glad you guys got it. I mean, not all of them are. Some of them are obvious. You got like that. We're not going to get this. But then there's other ones that I don't see at the moment because I can't remember them off the top of my head, but you guys had good ones too.
Well, I picked up one of these because it was like the success of the Dreamcast at the time. Things like Panzer Dragoon Auto, things like that. That's what motivated me to pick one up. I mean, as a system, it was probably a bit of a damp squib, but obviously that's Microsoft's entry into the market.
Right.
And hence, you know, 360 and Xbox One and all that stuff.
The one that comes to mind for me was Shadow of Memories. That was probably the most definitive.
Oh, okay.
Like, you guys had that exclusively. We didn't get that. And that's one I've been looking for, but I can't find it anywhere. GameCube stuff. Different cases. You guys had the label on the top instead of on the bottom like we did. Yeah. Cool stuff there, too. DS. The DS cases here are like twice the size of ours.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why that is.
Manual.
Now that we've gone to 3DS, those boxes are the same size as yours. They're like American DS games. They use a similar thin type of case. I don't quite know why we have bigger regular DS games. But there you go. I mean, it's a funny thing with compatibility on 3DS now as well, how it's no longer region free. That's infuriating. But
and here we have some Neo Geo CD games.
We do, which is more, I think, the DS, we're veering into slightly, this is space age territory for us.
Right.
That's still a little contemporary.
Cool Mega Drive case, some figures, boxed Game Boy games,
a
Master System in box. We got some Japanese Mega Drive, other Mega Drive / Genesis games, a couple of 32X games, including FIFA 96, which is a exclusive 32X game
FIFA,
in Europe.
That's so hard to explain.
Yeah, it's it's hard to explain and justify over here why that's expensive when every other FIFA game is like the equivalent of Madden. It's just not valuable. And that's the store. I mean, we got a Philips CD32, Philips CDI,
Fairchild channel left.
Link.
Man. I mean, that's some rare stuff right there.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff here. Super Nintendo, of course. You guys got the good cart designs, like Super Famicom type of design. Atari stuff. Yeah, Spectrum. You got so many cool things here. Well, you know, I want to thank you for letting me make this video here. Your store is awesome. And if you guys are ever here, please. If you guys are ever here, you should definitely check this place out. It's really awesome.
Certainly. We're in Cathays, in Cardiff, in Wales. There are very few retro video game shops knocking about. I know you've done some stuff with Next Level Games as well, and we're few and far between, but the stores that are here are well worth checking out. Both ourselves and Next Level Games are amazing as well. Very cool stuff.
Well, thank you again, and thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you all later.